It's time for the MCTS Experience mini episode.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's mini episode of the MCTS Experience. Mr. Nash and producer Nick and myself are pleased as punch.
Very excited. We are very excited.
With the great Rohan Sharma.
Oh, thank you.
Rohan.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah,
Rohan.
Rohan.
Now you sound like my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Your dad gets all fired up and does that?
Yeah, when he calls me, like, when I take too long upstairs for, like, doing something, he's like, come down. And that's exactly how he
Dude,
says it.
you see it? I channel the parents every
Yeah.
single time.
It's because you're a dad.
I am.
100%, Mr. Nash.
All dads are kind of the same.
Yes.
I would say.
In hopefully in a good way. I don't know. But we're also,
Producer Nick is smiling at this.
yeah. So Rohan, let me ask you a couple questions, okay?
Sure.
First of all, may I introduce you a little bit to our listening audience?
That would be great.
The whole point of today's mini episode, folks, is to tell you a little bit about what you can get out of one of these academies if you put the right effort into it, okay? Rohan is a senior at our Health Science Academy, located at the Assunpink Center on Old Trenton Road. Rohan would have gone to Hightstown High School, and Rohan is the type of kid who would have been successful anywhere he ended up.
We could put Rohan in Iceland or in Antarctica,
Yeah.
and he would have been killing it with the penguins.
You could put Rohan on the bottom of the ocean underneath
Yes.
a garbage
Yes,
barge,
you could.
and he would swim up, take over all the animals, and become Aquaman.
He
That's
would.
the type of
telepathically sending his mind process through the ocean to transform that garbage barge into a recycling vessel.
kid. Using the help of his friends from the deep,
Oh my
including the
gosh.
big blue whale.
Oh my god!
That's actually, I actually worked with the sustainability
See,
company
we knew
last
it.
summer.
We knew it.
This is exactly what we're talking about. So this is fantastic. Rohan has been the captain of the debate team last year and this year.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I have co-captains, but I would be managing the varsity side of it.
Okay. That seems like a little bit more important. No offense to other candidates. I'm
think
totally
so.
joking. I'm totally joking.
We're all a team.
He's the former vice president of our student council for 2 years during your sophomore and your junior year. You were
Yeah.
the vice president of that. You're a HOSA state officer. Quickly tell us what HOSA is.
So HOSA is, it used to stand for Health Occupation Students of America. Now it's HOSA Future Health Professionals because it's not just students. Now it's like young professionals, everyone. So what HOSA does is it's kind of like Skills USA in that it introduces students in high school to the health careers in an immersive fashion. Okay. So they'll bring them in for competitive events. They'll have like CPR first aid, which I did my first year. And I was lucky to place first in states, first in regionals, first in states, and we made it to internationals. And it was me and my sister, and she had done it for a couple of years. So
You had the inside tip. You had the inside tip.
Yeah. So I got to stand on like the international stage in front of like thousands of people, and like after that, I was like hooked.
Yeah,
There's no way to not be part of HOSA after that. So
Your sister went to the HSA too then?
yeah, I think she's actually on. Her face is on like the poster in Trenton.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and then we like didn't know about it till we like drove by it, but she's
And then she
she's
jumped
like,
out of the car and was signing autographs for people.
She jumped out of the poster.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So she's graduated. What's she doing with herself?
So she's at Duke right now. She's double majoring in neuroscience and public policy.
Okay.
So
yeah. I think that there's some good genetics in this family here too.
She's just been an amazing example, and you see that not just with like my sister, but like with a lot of other people here. There's people who like go into the school and just kind of make it theirs and like do what they can, and then you see like where they end up after MCTS, and then you're like very inspired to do as much as you can while you're here and like learn from their example, even improve on it. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Unbelievable. It goes without saying you're a killer student.
Oh,
Where are you looking at colleges?
So I'm looking because I went to the governor's school program at Rutgers University. It was like an engineering and technology type program. I went this past summer, so you're like very likely to get like acceptance with a scholarship to Rutgers because of going to that program and experiencing Rutgers.
Okay.
So that's like my one safety. So then for my college, I'm kind of shooting pretty high. So I'm early application is to Harvard, which is coming in like 2-3 days.
Wow.
And I'll be applying to like Princeton and MIT and stuff.
Oh, you'll have to tell us about the early.
Oh
decision.
yeah, I would just rework
We
my
got to
essays.
do a part 2 here with
Or
Rohan.
at
We'll
least-
see
at
how
least
it
an
goes.
update.
It's just the college admissions nowadays is very it's
And
almost lottery
the
based.
game changed a lot. My wife works for Princeton University. She works for the Lewis Center of the Arts, but she did Woodrow Wilson Public Policy graduate admissions back to up before we started a family.
That's
so
crazy.
she shared with me the exact sentiment that you just said, which is the cut and dried component of college admissions has really changed.
Yeah.
And they're really looking for just really unique,
real people,
real, multidimensional, tangible ways that people are connected in their community and that have a potential to affect, honestly, the world. And that's just not a kitschy statement. That's for real. So,
okay. Right. Well, actually, now that you mention it, you're talking about real people, something that would set you apart, right? From because every kid that applies to Harvard has a 4.0,
right?
They're involved with this, the
high
president
SATs,
of this, all those other things. So you need something now that makes you a real person, but also does set you apart from that crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, exactly. So like when last year they were selecting people to apply for the governor's school, the program I mentioned earlier. I felt like it was a lot easier to stand out in a group where like you really knew the teachers who were like nominating them, and they had an opportunity to understand who you were and what drove you and whether or not you would do well. Wow. So I was going to apply to the school for the sciences, considering Health Science Academy, like that's what I had a background in. But I went to the Governor's School of Engineering and Technology because Mr. Pfeffer, my teacher, had said, "I think you'll do better there because you have a lot of interest in math and the way you pick up physics concepts is good." So he asked me to apply there, but I felt like in a bigger school that would have been kind of lost, and I wouldn't have maybe even gotten into the School for the Sciences if it wasn't right for me. So that really kind of set me apart. I think that program, since it's like so prestigious and I was so lucky to be part of it, I'm very happy that that MCTS was like the reason kind of that I got there.
That's really nice.
Let's hearing that. Let's go in the time machine.
Yes.
Obviously, there was a sibling component to your decision making process.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's your decision. Just like people that are listening to this podcast are going to be saying, either if they're a parent or they're a student, hey, I'm thinking about this, or my son or daughter I think would excel in this. Go in the time machine to when the possibility of you making that decision to come to the Health Science Academy, which is such a cool, amazing academy.
Yeah.
take people through that freshman mindset. Take me back inside your mind to that point in time where you really pulled the lever down and you said, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go for it. Because ultimately it was your decision. Just because your sister went here, that's not, that's incidental.
My parents left it completely up to me. So like when I was little, littler, I guess, I had so many different career paths that I wanted to like go and pursue. I wanted to be like a cop, then I wanted to be like a firefighter and a journalist, and I couldn't decide. I wanted to be a songwriter. So at the very end, like towards 8th grade, I had narrowed it down to say maybe a couple major fields that I wanted to go into, and one of them was medicine.
Okay.
And I thought that let me kind of experience medicine kind of in an immersive fashion, like we were talking a little earlier, and see what it's really like, because you can only guess so much at this is what I want to do. And nowadays when we have to make decisions essentially in like 8th grade to set ourselves up for like the right college major and then the right career that comes afterwards, it's more important than ever to like really experience the field you're going into and make sure that that's what you want to do. Yeah. I didn't want to go through like possibly like 10 years of schooling after college and then realize this isn't what I want to do, because then that would just be so much time wasted where I could have been making an impact somewhere where I wanted to go.
And the world is full of people that are, and I hate to use this word, but miserable. They don't love the passion. The show Dirty Jobs is not about a show of people begrudgingly doing tasks that's awful.
Right.
It's people loving
it's
their
like,
immersion.
It's like that kind of like craftsman type mindset where you're just working because of like the joy of working, not necessarily because of a specific external goal.
And so in 8th grade, you were cognitive to that concept of wanting to really verify the trajectory of this career, potential career path. I mean, a lot of things change.
Yeah.
So many things can change between 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and then obviously
in college.
But I really do. I'm a firm believer with you as a person who's a graduate from MCTS as well, and as producer Nick is, and Mr. Worf isn't, but we're going to make him an honorary degree. We're going to give him an honorary degree.
I appreciate that. I'm too old.
That's okay.
The school's only been open for 50 years, and I'm 89. So.
My God, stop it, Mr. Worf. No, so it's interesting. So you were passionate and aware of that direction, and then what was it like? Go back to the beginning of when you first started immersing yourself in this environment of the academy. I mean, you're with what, 20, 25 other guys and girls in your class?
I think our graduating class is like 28 people. So
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty small, and like you get to know each other really, really quickly.
Yes.
But like you slowly discover more about each other as time goes on.
Sure.
But like in terms of classes, I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed biology. And I went into like the honors biology class, and I love that we had that like freshman year. A lot of people can only do earth science or physical science at like, their studying high school.
Got it.
But I had a chance to do that, and I loved it so much. I picked up the AP book for biology, and I studied through the whole thing. And I was like, I'm going to take this test and prove to myself I know what biology is, and that I can take a college level course. It doesn't matter. I'm like a freshman.
That's awesome.
So that like I would not have had the time or even like the resources to do that if I didn't have a class like this where I felt so like supported, and that I was not doing any work that was meaningless, but everything I was like learning through my homework or through like the teachers teaching their lessons the specific ways they do. And because it was such a small like tight knit class, they would make sure you understand it. So I was able to go through that whole course much more easily than like if I had been studying it at maybe a larger school with a larger class.
spectrum and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then along with that, Mr. Spar's biology was your instructor, I'm assuming.
So actually, we had Miss Alessino back then.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Mr. Sabar didn't teach basic biology.
Got it.
I guess, or like the honors biology class. He taught like microbiology and anatomy and stuff. So he still does that, but our bio teacher was different.
Great. So, but then that phased you into the chemistry component. Does that come in sophomore and junior year?
Yeah. So sophomore year, I was able to do something a little bit off the like beaten path, I guess.
Sure.
I decided I had an empty block in my schedule because I was taking math at the college, and instead of like let's say making a study hall or taking art, I wanted to take another like heavily academic class. So I took
just
chemistry.
like you, Orf. Orf, he's just like you in high school. Keep going.
Yeah,
So
was me,
I took chemistry, and then I also took organic chemistry at the same time. So I went to Mr. Pfeffer. I was like, I'd never had a class with him before, but I said I really want to take organic chemistry. I want to see what it's like, and I want to do that.
And was
now.
what is it, one-on-one or a couple other students, or were you?
It was just so normally it's a senior year course, and we're one of the few schools that offers that. And some people take a junior year if they have like finished a lot of their classes.
Got it.
So I took it as a sophomore, and I was sitting in a class full of just seniors, and it was me in the middle.
Wow.
And I ended
It's
up
intimidating.
Yeah, I ended up with like a 9,900 in that course. So
And you loved it. Did you
Yeah.
love again?
I loved
So you're
it so
knocking
much.
you're knocking off these classes that require this intense focus, this intense knowledge, and you're gathering it up like a sponge does water.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
So, Rohan, I have a couple of questions for you. So I'm hearing this about you. So he falls in love with biology and wants to take the AP exam.
Yeah.
He's taken a college level class, and
yeah, I think
now this. I want to say this, and please take this in spirit in which it's intended. It's a compliment, but you are a mutant. Like people who
It's an
hear
X-Men
this
Academy.
would I might be like Mr. Orff when he was in high school, and definitely Mr. Nash when he was in high school. We would be shaking in our shoes. We'd be like, I can't go to this health science academy. They only allow super geniuses there or something like that. So I'm curious, number one, did you have a typical high school experience? And what would you say to a person who was like, they're a good student, but they're not like a superstar or anything like that? You have a real love of learning, and I'm not sure that every kid in the world has that. What would you say to somebody else?
I would say that it's still a really good idea to come here. If I could, let's say, make something, like snap my fingers and make something happen, I would allow every like student to like experience an immersive program in whatever they want to go into, because that's the only way to figure it out. So I think like for that reason specifically, it's great to come to the Health Science Academy or any of our other academies for that matter. But also the people who are there, the teachers who are there, whether you're struggling or you're an exceptional student, they're there to accommodate you. So if you're struggling, like even like earlier today, Mr. Pfeffer was, during lunch, going to like one of the students and helping them through a concept that they had missed during class that they had completely understand. Yeah. So like he was helping them there, and I'd also gone to him earlier, like I was mentioning, for organic chemistry. So Mr. Pfeffer is that kind of teacher that like he allows you to learn at your own pace. Whether you're a bit of a slower learner, he'll help you along and make sure you understand the concept and get what you need from it. And if you're faster, he'll give you an opportunity to learn more, to encourage you to take, the subject test or the AP test. And he's always there. And HSA and all our other academies are, I think, filled with teachers like that. That's
I agree.
Everyone
and
I've met.
The share time programs, too. We have teachers who want you to get it.
Definitely.
They want you to be successful.
I mean, that's the beauty of CTE education, whether it's academy or share time. like you said it best, the immersion of the passion within the individual is, in essence, what causes you and many others to pull the lever down to say, I think I want to get involved in this. I think I want to enroll in this. And then once you step through the door and you make it through those first couple of days, this first couple of weeks, and then you really fall in love with the style of learning, the immersion learning,
Right.
and then just the passion that the staff has.
Right.
I mean, Mr. Pfeffer, he's phenomenal. He worked for FMC as a chemist. I mean,
he's 30 years as an industrial chemist.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. There's no like parallel to that. I
No,
think.
it's like capturing a cheetah in the wild and then bringing him in and letting him experience our students. It's incredible.
That's a good nickname for Mr. Pfeffer.
The cheetah.
The cheetah, yeah. But don't a cheetah on his tests.
My
See what I did there?
Orf,
See what I did there?
Stop.
Rohan Sharma, it is an absolute pleasure to have you with us on the MCTS experience. I want to thank you for your time.
Thank
and
you so much.
Frankly, I know you're going to be a successful
Senator
whatever
Sharma.
happens.
I'm already calling it Senator Sharma.
Senator Sharma. Do keep us posted on what's going on, okay? Give us an
course.
update. Send me an email or something like
Sure.
that so I can tell all our listeners. I want to remind all our listeners, that's about wraps it up for this week's mini episode. Please listen to us on Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. Share it with your friends. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and get that information about the school out there to all your friends. Okay, listeners? And until then, on behalf of myself and Rohan Sharma and Nick MacGyver Sikowski and Dave Nash, this is Mr. Orff saying, discover your passion
And unlock your future.